How did you know you were going to become a founder?
I don't think you know that you're going to become a founder. I think the business found me, not the other way around. Like I said, when I started working, I still had friends, colleagues, or people, especially contacts I made in my time in Isaac, who would be like, they're working on their businesses, they want to create businesses, and then they just think like, actually, let me ask Vicky, she'll be the best person to talk to about this. And this happened time and time again, right? The way that the business started, I think I say this all the time, if you've ever heard of Growth Padi's story, is that I didn't sit down to say, I'm going to create a company and call it Growth Padi. In fact, we didn't even start as Growth Padi.
Hi everyone, my name is Falano Abimbola and welcome to GAS Docuseries, and this is Growth Conversations by Growth African Summit, powered by Growth Padi. And this is actually where we actually dive deep with Africans' boldest founders and growth operators. And this is also where we uncover the systems, the grit, and also the insight in building and scaling. And today, definitely, I'm not alone. So I'm going to be introducing somebody very special. She's the founder of one of the biggest growth business in Nigeria. And drum rolls. Hi, Victory.
Hi, I'm blushing.
You're blushing. Okay, please, can you kindly introduce yourself to us?
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Victory Mesona. Rightly introduced, I'm the founder of Growth Padi. So it feels weird to be sitting in the guest chair today because I'm usually the host, but I am so excited to be doing this. Growth Padi is a business growth hub, and what we do is scale and support SMEs and startups, and one of our flagship programs is Growth Africa Summit. And yeah, we're so excited to be here and doing this, and I can't wait to dive into the Growth Padi story, which is also mine. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm going to quickly ask you some questions, right? So, can you tell me one of the best country you visited?
I think Singapore, no doubt, like hands down, my favorite country. I've been there twice. Okay. And my last trip was like very recent. And I think one of the reasons I love this country is you know this thing called user experience. It's like the people that built the country were user experience experts. Like so much thought. It's not just in the beauty and the technology, but it's how they wove that into the city in itself. So much thought into like, oh, how would people use this thing? Signs everywhere. Go left, go there. Crossing the road is so easy. Like it's so easy to live in the city, and beyond development, they're just very intentional about their citizens or people that visit the country. Do you know that they have a tourist refund program?
Hey.
So they like give you back 10% of everything you spend in the country when you're on your way.
Okay, so the next thing I'm going to ask is, between sales and business development, which one will you choose?
He's like asking between how do I say, it's between rice and stew. Which one you choose? Like I don't understand. Of course rice and stew, but I mean I think it's important to debunk first. People feel like sales is different, and then business development is different. Sales is a part of it. So business development is the whole, is like rice and stew, and then sales is like maybe just rice inside. So it depends in terms of experience, or the kind of outputs that it would do for a business. Obviously business development, because there you're covering sales, you're covering like your customer experience and customer success, you're covering like product innovation and things like that. So hands down business development, but like the core of it as well is like you need to make money, so sales. So I ain't choosing. I'm going for the whole meal.
Okay, the last one, since you mentioned rice, so between fried rice and jollof rice.
Why are you asking me back my question?
No, let me ask you.
Can I choose pounded yam and egusi instead?
No.
I think I'll go with jollof rice for sure, and not even because of the taste, but I feel like because it's harder to find good fried rice than it is to find good jollof rice.
Right.
So some people don't know how to make fried rice. Get curry rice instead. But
right.
We'll take it.
Okay, so let's just go into what we have for today.
Okay.
Okay. So can you tell us a bit about your background, how you went from being a law student to going into entrepreneurship, and how did you even enter this growth niche of a thing?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. So yeah, my background is in law. I'm a lawyer, but I got into business development in 2017, where I was in ISEC. Most of you would know ISEC. It's a global youth organization in over 100 countries in the world. And where I was schooling at the time, I was a member of ISEC. And my department was in charge of projects. So we were responsible for bringing interns into the country. So what we would do is we would go and talk to companies and say, hey, we have these interns that want to come to the country. Do you want to take these interns? You know, and most of the time they're foreigners, different things. So I realized that I was quite good at getting companies to buy whatever I was selling, even though I wasn't selling at the time. And then I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process of like looking for these companies, going to approach them, you know, making those value propositions and whatnot. And so that's how I got into the space. And right after that experience, and I was finishing school and I'm moving back to Nigeria, then I applied to be like on the Nigerian team, the national team of ISEC in Nigeria, as head of business development. And then from there, just like the rest is history, right? So I went from, you know, business development to, you know, sales to partnerships, kind of touching on different angles. So that's how I got into growth, really, but not necessarily, you know, how I got into entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Okay. So when and how did you know you wanted to be part of the growth and sales industry?
Yeah, I think that it was, I won't say I knew the year exactly. I went from doing business development in ISEC many years across different countries. And then finally, my last role was, you know, from within the global structure, the global team, responsible for Asia Pacific. But every single time we delivered, like 100% BD subsidy achieved, revenue goals achieved, all of the partnerships achieved. So I feel like it kind of became the only thing I knew how to do, or maybe the thing I knew how to do the most and I enjoyed. And right after that, I got an offer for a company I don't even remember applying for. So, and it was good. It was a good offer at the time. So I guess I didn't have the time to sit back and feel like, oh, what do you really want to do now? So I took the offer, but I realized I still wanted to help companies and other startups. So it was like, you're working now, but can you help us do this? I'm like, yeah. So I think at that moment, it was clear that this is your calling.
Wow.
Yeah.
At the start of your career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that moment, a defining moment where you knew that, okay, I'm going to scale, I know how to scale a business? Like what parts?
I don't think we ever finally completely say that we know how to scale a business, but when you've done something repeatedly over and over, you kind of get the hang of it.
Yeah.
And I think that so we worked with a company, a health tech in 2021, so 2022, helped them grow from one state in Nigeria to 36 states across the country. Through partnerships, of course. It was a health tech, and so we onboarded about 1,000 partners for them in the health sector within about 10 months, like less than a year. And that was a massive feat, really, hands down, one of the biggest thing we've done. And if we could do this for one organization, we realized we could replicate it to do it for many others. And till date, we've not had a bad review. I mean, I'm saying this, it's going to be posted on YouTube, right? So like, it's a flex to say we've not had a bad review from any organization that we worked with. So when you've done that for 1, 2, 10, 20, at some point, it's no longer luck. You know, there's an art, there's a science to this thing, and we've kind of like unlocked it and we're still cracking it. Yeah.
Okay. So now that you're saying all this, have you ever imagined being a founder, even right from when you were a kid?
Nah. I don't even, I feel like I don't always introduce myself as a founder. So when people, I mean, in formal settings like this, I have to. But I prefer like chief growth engineer or chief growth strategist, because at the core of my job, I'm still a growth operator, right? My business is one that I have to solve other business challenges, which keeps me still in that operator mode. But did I ever dream that I would own a company? Well, yeah. I mean, I always wanted to be Forbes 30 under 30 kind of. I have big ambitions. That's the short answer. I didn't know where that road would lead, whether it would be to entrepreneurship or to being like, working with the UN, because I had like global organization affiliations as well, work with international labor organizations and whatnot. But I just knew that I wanted to do something huge. Okay. Yeah.
So when and how did you know you were going to become a founder?
I don't think you know that you're going to become a founder. I think the business found me, not the other way around. Okay, so a bit of backstory. Like I said, when I started working, I still had friends and colleagues or people, especially contacts I made in my time in Isaac, who would be like, they're working on their businesses and they maybe meet a challenge, or they want to create businesses, and then they just think that, actually, let me ask Vicky. She'll be the best person to talk to about this. And this happened time and time again, right? And the way that the business started, I think I say this all the time, if you've ever heard of Growth Padi's story, is that I didn't sit down to say, I'm going to create a company and call it Growth Padi. In fact, we didn't even start as Growth Padi, but another story. But it started with me having an assistant, because I had so many gigs in quote that I was working on. I was working with multiple founders and entrepreneurs and people who were building businesses, sometimes just doing sales for them, all the time just doing advisory. I remember one of our earliest clients at the time sitting in the car with the founder at like 10:30 p.m. somewhere in Surulere and just brainstorming, bringing the business to life. He had not even launched, right? So we've done this like multiple times, and I just realized that, I couldn't say no to all these businesses, so I got an assistant. And then my assistant needed another assistant, and so on and so forth. And we realized, hey, there's something here. There's a business here. So we built a business out of it. So it found us, not the other way around.
That's good. Okay, so how has your journey been so far?
It's been I don't think it's a word to describe it, but it's been an entire experience. Recently, I was talking with a friend who is at the beginning of her founder journey. She's Singaporean, so we were just standing in front of a coffee shop, and she was asking all these questions like, oh, how do you know who to hire? How do you know when to fire? How do you know you even need a role? And that got me thinking, as I was sharing with her, that it's been almost 3 years, or actually 3 years, unofficially though, of trying and starting and failing and crying and getting up at this thing. So the word to say is experience. I think entrepreneurship in Africa generally will stretch you. There'll be great times and there'll be not so great times. But it's been very eye-opening as well. You get to learn about yourself and your team and the industry and even the country through the eyes of like trying to start a business or run a business. So it's been an entire experience that I am grateful for, by the way. Very grateful.
Okay, so what problem is Growth Padi trying to solve?
Can you hear the name? Like, I'm the obvious. Okay, so Growth Padi, like the name implies, is your partner for growth. I think in a simple sentence, we're trying to help businesses grow. We want to make business, running entrepreneurship easier, if that's ever possible. As a utopia, but that's what we want to do. And in not so many words, we're helping intending founders. So you've not started your business, but you have an idea and you want to go from idea to execution, right? That's one. And then people who've already started, but you want to go from one phase to the next, right? So if you're ready to scale, you're ready to grow, then you bring in Growth Padi or you're about to start. So simply put, we're trying to be your partner in business growth. That's what Growth Padi is doing.
Okay, that's very good. So, how do you actually help businesses? How do you help them scale?
It's like I should divulge on my strategy roadmap.
Just give us like a little playbook.
Kidding. So I think the first thing we say is that growth is not a one-size-fits-all. Growth is unique to every business. Yes, there are principles that will cut across different different industries or different types of business, but there are some that are very, very specific to the organization and startup that you're working with, right? So when we start up with a client, we review them. We look at their internal workings, look at the industry research, we look at their numbers, data, and we try and see, where are you trying to go? Where are you now and where are you trying to go? And then we build a strategic roadmap. So one of the very first things we do with clients when we get them on board is to have a strategic session. Not all clients. Some clients already know where they want to go and they just want you to execute. But some clients come to you at like, I'm at this point and I'm trying to get to point B. Can you help us get there? So we build a strategic roadmap. And that roadmap might look like a mix of different things. It can look like sales, like, how do we like power, unlock, supercharge, like ChatGPT will say, your sales process. It could look like branding and positioning and strategy mapping and partnerships. It could look like product experience or even your customer experience or expansions, as in were the case for the health tech that we helped. So it could look like different things. The roadmap never really looks the same for all companies, but I would say getting that roadmap clarity and having like ruthless execution is how you get companies to go from one point to another.
Okay, so a little birdie told me that you're in the process of launching ScalePadi, an AI-powered growth engine. So how did you actually come up with this, and what's the innovation behind it?
This a little birdie is a big gossip. Is there a little birdie anything? Yeah, so I'm very excited about ScalePadi. Obviously, we're not sharing a lot right now. We're sharing in strategic spaces, but there are a couple of things that we can definitely share. So ScalePadi is an AI-powered growth platform. Essentially, how we came up with the idea is years of working in the growth space. So working as Growth Padi, we realized that the common denominator across all these growth paradigms for businesses was talent, right? So if you take a company in Nigeria or a company in Kenya or a company in China, for instance, the market conditions might be different. The funding available different. The user and consumer behavior will differ across these markets. But one thing that can equalize the game is talent. It's the people that work in this organization. Because if I'm great and I'm skilled here in Nigeria, I will also be great and skilled in China. I mean, there might be different rules that I might have to learn the ropes and all of that, but talent is a common denominator, right? So if, for instance, I've worked in the Asian market as business development, same thing I worked in Nigeria as, doing business development. And the common denominator between those two entities was me, because the market was different. And why the both of them succeeded, I mean, amongst other things, was also me, right? So we realized that it was talent that could change the game for business growth. We could give all these strategies and, sell this. For example, this health tech that I was talking about, we worked with them in 2022. In 2024, they were back. What happened? But after much fact finding, we realized that actually there's a talent problem, right? So ScalePadi basically is connecting businesses to vetted growth talents, literally in simple words. And we say it's AI powered because it will help us streamline a lot of process, right? So right now, when companies come to us, they have to book a call, then talk to a growth expert, then, talk about their business, and the growth expert will recommend strategies and whatnot. We say, hey, we can teach AI how to do this. This is 2025. AI is doing a lot. We can teach AI to listen to your business challenges and give you recommendations like we would with machine learning, of course. And then we could teach it to connect these business challenges to experts who are mapped out, who have profiled to solve that, right? So that's what we're doing with ScalePadi. And we're feeding the back end in the sense that we also have the ScalePadi Academy that we are training growth operators in it. We're training them how to do sales, how to use our processes and whatnot. So it is the future. We're very excited, and we can't wait to see it go live, which is very soon. Yeah.
Okay, so why AI for growth, and what bottlenecks are you trying to eliminate?
Come on, I mean, I don't think this is the age that we should be asking why AI. It should be why not AI because, this is so whether we like it or not, AI is here to stay, and it will continue to shape our processes and shape our business decisions. Any company that would not learn to use it, you're most likely going to die or stop growing. Yeah. So, the question is, how can AI, not why? So how can? So when we're thinking about growth and how we currently do growth for businesses, the question was, how can we leverage technology to make things faster, cheaper, more affordable, right? Averagely, it takes about a month to 45 days, 30 to 45 days to recruit a qualified growth expert. By growth expert or growth operators, we're saying people in sales, marketing, PR, business development, product marketing, all of those roles. It takes about 30 to 45 days. And even with that, it's expensive. Even with that, you might still hire, someone that is probably not the best fit. But you could do it with technology in 72 hours, right? So why not? It for us, it was like, we've seen this gap already, and we know what to do to solve it. But hey, we could get a third party, which is AI or technology in this space, to partner with us and solve it better, solve it faster. Right? Yeah.
So how will ScalePadi work in practice?
How will it work in practice? You go to www.scalepadi.com. By the way, you can go there right now. And then you will say, hi, my name is Victory, and I run a business, but I've not been getting any clients, or I've been experiencing churn, or, you will type out your challenges, and then ScalePadi AI is going to respond to you. Very sweet AI is going to be like, oh, I understand your business challenge. It's not like ChatGPT. It's been trained to be very polite and to be very business conscious as well. And then it's going to respond to your business challenges, but it's going to take it a step further. It's going to tell you, this is what it thinks you should do. So I can't bore you with all the jargon, and those are trade secret anyways, but in actual sense, it will take what you've said, streamline it into what we call growth bottlenecks, and then return it to you and say, hey, what you're experiencing is churn, or you're experiencing decreased brand visibility, or, your market penetration is not working or whatnot, right? And it will then tell you, we think you need to do ABC on the basic level. And it will then tell you that we have these people who can help you do ABC. Do you want to be connected to these experts? At that point, you can say yes, you want to be. It will go ahead to print your bill, or show you your invoice, or possible costs. And if you click, you pay, you get connected to your experts. And within 72 hours, you can get access to these people. That's how it will work. The other way that it will work is, even if you don't want to get experts from the platform, you just want to get advisory, there are plans. You can pay. There's the freemium plan that has a limit, and then you can pay monthly subscriptions to continually talk to the AI and get recommendations. At some point, it will also ask you if you want to speak to a human growth expert, which then it will connect you to any of the growth engineers within the team.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So, what framework do you use in identifying businesses to work with, and how do you actually ensure measurable growth?
What frameworks do I so till date, I don't think we've really done a lot of aggressive advertising or marketing for Growth Padi, and that's because we've been a small team. So I'd say our biggest client acquisition strategy has been recommendations, right? So most of our clients come by recommendation. Someone recommended someone we work, which is great for us. It means that our conversion rate from people who we talk to people who sign up to become our clients is very great. How we get measurable success, like I said, depends on the business. Like the roadmap that we use or the strategy that we use will depend on the business, will depend on a couple of things, the founder's budgets, the business's, vision, where they're headed. But I would say ruthless execution. I think that's one thing I said before. So my team is trained to focus on the most important things. The thing to growth and scaling is that there's a lot of noise sometimes. Like you want to chase so many things. You're pushing an app. You want to chase download at the same time. You want to chase like visibility, loud stuff. Like my team has been trained to shut out the noise and just focus on what growth means for that business. And sometimes that might mean prioritizing and say, hey, let's clean it out for you. Let's zero it down. I know you want to do this and that. And that's a challenge with a lot of founders. They have so many things they want to do. And most time, very limited budgets. But then they want to do everything at the same time. But we've been trained to come in and say, this is what will get you to growth the fastest and the most efficient way and the most sustainable way. And we're just going to go ahead and focus on doing. So I would say ruthless execution and also being able to listen very closely to the market and the founder. It helps because sometimes you feel like you're doing things for a business and they're achieving growth, but if the founder doesn't feel like they're actually growing, you might have a challenge. So we listen very closely to the business market, like the industry they're in. If you're in logistics, what's going on in your industry? And then the founder, what's the business you've always wanted to build? How do you envision it? And then we try to bring that to life. And then we just go full on into execution.
So how do you actually structure Growth Padi to ensure it grows while also helping others?
If people want to share, I don't even know. You have to carry my roadmap and put it out there in the world. But we're always happy to share because that's the essence of Growth Padi. I think one thing is we hire where there's a demand. Over the years, it's always been a case of when we see a gap, we hire it. A simple math is, for instance, I am probably the most expensive employee in my organization now. Not because I'm the founder, because I'm the most senior growth person. I hope not to be one day. I want to recruit more senior growth people. But for now I am. And that means that my time costs the company a lot of money, right? So whenever I find myself working on mundane tasks, and by mundane, I don't mean that they're not important, but routine things, like reviewing a proposal or a client report or something, which is good to do in the early days, and I still do most of it. But when I find myself consecutively doing it, then I'm losing money, right? I break it down to most of my founders in one-on-one calls. I'm losing money. The company is losing money because I am not paid to do the things that someone that is half the years of my experience can do. Do you get? So once we see those kind of gaps, we close it immediately. We either find someone within the company, recruit internally, or we bring someone. But we make sure that there's a demand there, and we make sure that there's clear ROI tied to that role. So if someone is doing this, that means it frees up somebody else to do this, and then ultimately the company makes more money. I think that's one in terms of the way that we structure. And then two is we've tried to keep it as nimble as possible and take out a lot of bureaucracies. And I think I say to my team all the time that one of my dreams is that no matter how big the organization grows, every single person knows how to access the right people and right information that they need. That we do not become so bureaucratic that there's so many processes and policies that things don't get done. There are pros and cons to this, but for us, we focus, like I said, ruthless execution. That applies to my internal team. So we focus on getting things done, right? Why we create processes and, policies is did it get done? What's the best way to get it done? What's the most efficient way to get it done? So we try to remove anything that is going to make us lag and keep things very nimble. Across board, different departments, everyone is still very nimble. That's how we structure.
Okay. So when working towards partnership, how do you create value for both sides?
I think that it wouldn't even be a partnership without value for both sides in the first place. So at the inception of a partnership, the process to do it is to think about, if you're the one looking for the partnership, what do I need, right? People don't create partnership for partnership. You could create a partnership because you want brand visibility. So for instance, I want to partner with MTN now, maybe for different reasons, but maybe my main reason is that, oh my God, it would like incredibly boost my brand, right? Yeah. So it means that the main aim is brand visibility, right? So you've identified what you want, which is your interest. You also then need to identify what would MTN want. Okay? And in the possible list of things that MTN can want, then you need to identify what is called in business term is ZOPA, the zone of possible agreement. So it's like, of these things that MTN will want, what can I offer that will match what I am asking, right? Okay. And sometimes it might not be an exact match, but it needs to be like, okay, what can MTN get out of this? So that's how you approach a partnership, first of all. And then you build your value proposition around that to say, hey, we should do this because you're going to get this out of that. I'm going to get this out of it. And this is our mutual interest. This is where we align, first of all. We are both fighting for, or maybe not fighting, we're both supporting development of African youth or like Nigerian entrepreneurs, identify the mutual interest zone and then go deep into like trying to pitch your value proposition on that ZOPA.
Okay. Yeah. So what must be in a partnership deal that will facilitate valuable outcomes?
Clarity. So a lot of companies and businesses sign partnerships for the sake of signing partnerships and just to put on LinkedIn. We're happy to announce we are now partnering with but most times, right, that is great for the initial short-term wins. It ends up frustrating or hurting the business sometimes if you don't have clarity in what exactly are we going to do in this partnership. Like, what is the obligation of partner A? And what is the obligation of partner B? And to what end, right? So what must be in the partnership? There must be clarity of what, like, who is doing what. There must be clarity of what are we trying to achieve in measurable terms. Like, so we are collaborating to eradicate malaria from Nigeria. Great. How do we measure that? It needs to be there from the onset. If not, someone is going to wake up down the line and be like, come, we have partnered with these people. What are we even doing with them? Like, what's the point? At some point, somebody's going to wake up and be frustrated and be unsatisfied. So from the beginning, being able to measure what is the outcome we're looking for as partners, and how do we quantify that we are achieving this outcome? That level of clarity is great. And then embed things like systems and structures, have like quarterly reviews, if you will, monthly check-ins, ensure that, you've set up a team. There's this thing that I used to do then when I was working with Isaac. Once we signed a partnership, I would create a partnership roadmap. I don't even know if that thing existed. I just created it. Like, it would be extracted from the contract to say, this is the interest of partner A, this is the interest of partner B, and this is what partner A wants to see in this short term, in this term. So that will be my guide for execution and making sure that we've not just signed, because it's very easy to just like sign the partner. Especially when it's not a monetary partnership, there are some things you're supposed to work on. It's very easy to just sign and everybody just relax. Chasing the partnership, so many conversations, and then after signing, silence, radio silence, or maybe they show up for the event, the inaugural event, PR, press releases after that.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, clarity and making sure that there's a system and structure around execution and tracking what you wanted to achieve from the beginning. Yeah.
Now I feel like I need to go inside business. Let me be a founder too. Okay, so like me, that I want to become a founder very soon.
Okay, rooting for you.
Thank you. So, what advice will you actually give founders that are seeking strategic partnership that can help them scale?
Yeah, I would repeat what I just said. And it would be, make sure you have clarity on what you're looking for from the partnership, and have clarity on what you can offer to this kind of partner. But in addition to that, it's like you can. So most times we want to partner with. It's like networking. You want to network up, right? So you want to partner with like people who are the brands who are way bigger than yours, which is good and not bad. But I would say sometimes the partnership you're looking for in terms of actual value, you can get it from another brand, which is like probably your size of brand as well. So don't look at the size of the brand or how big or how known the brand is to partner. That's a wrong approach, except of course that's exactly what you're looking for from the partnership. You need to ask yourself, what is the goal I'm looking for, and what kind of companies can help me achieve this, and then go for that. Not from, we want to partner with Guinness or Facebook, and can you really offer value to Facebook? If you can, great. If you cannot, then maybe you should start with, I don't know, who is a smaller Facebook? I'm sure there's a smaller Facebook somewhere. I can't just remember anyone right now. But maybe you should start with that. And you can offer them value that will make them even prioritize, this partnership over Facebook that maybe has 1 billion other partners.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you actually build a high performance work culture, and what systems do you use for accountability and learning?
That's a very tough question, or maybe the word is interesting question, because it's at the core of growth for businesses. I would say the way that we do it at Growth Padi is leverage, or is built on transparency. So at the beginning, everyone gets their KPIs, right, of the quarter. In fact, before the KPIs of the quarter, we have our goals for the year, our strategy sessions, and that's broken into quarterly roadmaps. And then from that quarterly roadmaps, each teams know what they're doing. And we try to make it very fair, which means that you get KPIs. You also have like bonus incentives, things that make sure that you're properly motivated as well to want to meet your KPI. So that's like on the, I would say, performance side, or trying to have goals side. We also have things like our culture checks, right? So culture checks, we have 360 team reviews that allow people, the team, to also express what they think can be improved about the team culture. We have a very good feedback system at Growth Padi. I think that's something that I am so proud of, because I've worked in many companies and I still sit in the growth teams of many organizations by virtue of my role, and I see like feedback system to be able to tell someone, I think you could do this better, and then go ahead to recommend how they can do it better. It's something, because for me, I prioritize that. So I would say that helps our performance and our team culture. If someone makes a mistake, they know they made a mistake and they know what to do to correct it. There's also clarity on what they need to do and the goals they need to meet and how these goals fit into the company system. We also have a high recognition culture. It's not just about setting goals. It's also about recognizing good habits and deterring bad habits. To have high recognition culture, systems and things. I mean, those meetings, those clear checkpoints on how we check people's energy, how they're feeling about the organization. Up until last quarter, I used to have, and I think I still do, one-on-one with all of my team members, not just team leaders, even people that don't report directly to me. And it's a thing till date that anyone, even interns, can book a meeting. And if it's something about personal feedback to the company, you want to get to know about your performance, we still do that till date. So I think everything, everything together is what builds that strong performance culture and work culture. And culture is really what you allow, right? I think I've said this before somewhere. So we don't allow anything that we fire quickly as well. It's part of building our culture. We fire very quickly. So if we notice that someone is not complying culture-wise, not just performance-wise, most of the time we fire is for culture. attitudes, anything that is going to seep and then destabilize the ecosystem and pH level of the team that I'm building, no, we've got to weed it out. So we don't allow things that will break down the kind of company that we're building. So we take it out, and then we encourage great things.
Okay, so with all of this, how do you actually balance your professional life with your personal life? How do you even? I know you do a lot professionally, right?
Yeah.
How do you have time for yourself? Do you travel out? What do you do?
What do you mean? I think work-life balance, I'm tempted to say it's a myth, but I know it's not true. There is such a thing, but for me, and I can only speak for myself, I think that finding your core in life is important, your purpose. So whether personally or professionally, my core is growth. Everyone that is close to me knows that, even my friends, I am constantly obsessing about, hey, how can you go from one step to another? So that's my life's mission, literally. I have beyond professional, like beyond Growth Padi or ScalePadi, I have like an NGO that focuses on like growth, both spiritually and academically. It's called Light and Skills, by the way. So I think once you've identified like what's that thing that makes you tick, it's easier, not easy, but it's just a little easier to what's the word now, to then put everything under one basket. So I would say first thing, identifying that. The second would be to create a system that works for you. Now, not because I'm the richest person still, but I have a team separate from the Growth Padi team, right? And I've structured my team very interestingly in a way. I have a technical assistant. Actually, I started by having an executive assistant, which is what most founders will get. And then I hired a technical assistant. And then I hired a strategic assistant, right? Then my PR. But there's like 3 assistants. And you're like, you're not even the president. Why do you have 3 assistants? Because I know myself. And I know all the things that I have to manage. And because I want to optimize for efficiency. That's why. So the way that I structure my personal life as well helps me to have that balance, right? There's a time in my life that I don't work on weekends. The world can be moving and going mad. It would take something exceptional to get me to work on weekends, because I had things I was doing on weekend, not just necessarily because I was sleeping, even though I prioritized that. In May, I went on a 2 weeks vacation, literally shut everything out and recharged, spent time with God as well. So I would say there are systems, yes. I use a task tracker every day that I wake up, and there are days that I focus on different things that I do. So Growth Padi, mostly I would focus, let's say for instance, I'm focusing on you Thursday and Friday, and then I'm focused on other things like other jobs Monday to Tuesday, then I'm focusing on Light and Skills Saturday and Sunday. So I do that. But most importantly, I try not to procrastinate. So ruthless execution, that's like a mantra for me this year. Like this year has been ruthless execution. I wanted to write a book for so long, but I said 2025 we're writing that book, and then we did, because again, ruthless execution. So I don't think that there is one single thing. I think it's a combination of all of these things that help me balance, and I'm fiercely protective of my family as well. So yeah.
Okay. So do you have rituals or tools or boundaries that keeps you focused and grounded?
Yeah, absolutely. I think rituals or tools, for instance, I don't start working immediately I wake up. I spend some time to pray and to listen to music. I love doing sing. I think it sets my tone for the day, and it's not cliche. Like it just really works for me. I won't call them rituals per se. It's just something that I know that works for me. So sometimes I literally get woken up by client calls or by one problem happening or the other, and then you dive right into it. So it's not as if I don't do that, I would die. But when I can, and most time I intentionally try to do that, it's like wake up, ease into my day. Another thing that really helps me is to plan for my day the day before. Because once my day starts, like from that first meeting, it gets really busy till the end of the day. So anything that is not in front of me right now might easily get lost in. So I try to plan for my day before, right? Have my checklist of what I need to focus on today and give room for anything else that might pop up during the day. I think that really helps. I also know my strengths and weaknesses, aka I am not a morning person. So if you set a meeting for me before 11 a.m., it's got to be really important for me to show up. And I try not to propose those times because I know that I am not a morning person and that's not my strength. I also work better at night. So most times when I start my days, I take all my meetings and then I start to work on proposals on things, from like 5, and I can work all the way till very late at night. So I think knowing your strengths and your weaknesses helps. And for me, these are the things that help. I try to delegate as much as I can as well. Like anything that I don't need to be doing, move it. Yeah.
The future you're building with Growth Padi and ScalePadi. So what is actually next?
A lot of Okbo. There's a lot. I think my one thing I'm very grateful for my team is that they're always thinking ahead, like they're 10 steps ahead. For instance, I can't even take credit for this GAS Docuseries. It was not even my idea, it was my team. So there's a lot, but in simple terms, we're focused on doing 2 things, which is building the strongest growth engine for Africa. And then, constantly iterating and, ideating on how can we do that better. So it's like, we want to build that growth engine for Africa. Yeah, we already know that this is where we're going, but every step of the way, how can we do it better? How can we do it faster? So different things might pop up. Right now, it's ScalePadi. I know, obviously, there's Growth Africa Summit, but right now it's ScalePadi we're focusing on. There's also the ScalePadi Academy that we're working on. Our courses are there. We're trying to see how we could move that to an edtech platform. So there's a lot of interesting things lined up for us as a company. But it's always going to revolve around building that very reliable, very efficient, growth infrastructure for companies. We want to make it such that businesses go from, I don't know what to do, to having a clear roadmap, operators that can execute them, and a partner to guide them on that journey. So it's like, what next? Then call Growth Padi. That's kind of what we're doing, and we're continually working on that.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
So what's the last words you're going to be giving us?
To my dear founders and operators, I would say that if you're looking to build a business, then don't overthink it. Start first. Start fast. Fail fast. You've heard all of these things. So don't overthink it. Start first, start fast, and fail fast. Secondly is, as much as you can, start to structure for growth at the beginning. So while you're even starting, you want to be thinking, what will this business look like growing? Don't wait for you to get to that blocker or bottleneck. Then start thinking about it, because there might be some steps that you might have missed that would have been critical, right? So as you're starting fast, you can even start scrappy, but think about, what will this business look like when we start to grow? And what are the practices that we must imbibe and build now to enable us be poised and ready for growth when we're eventually ready to scale the strategies? For operators and people in our growth space, it's never easy to try to want to scale a business or grow a business. But I would say focus on the thing that so one way to find what your the most important part of your career is like, what's that problem that you feel the most confident to solve, and focus on that. So some people are very great at closing sales, but not so good at generating the leads, or not so good at partnerships or managing clients' expectations. So focus on that thing, that unique part of your career journey or path or experience that you are exceptionally good at. Harness it. Look for the opportunity and try to build that deeply as well. So yeah, and I'm rooting for you. There's always like Growth Padi doors are open. Reach out to us on LinkedIn, me on LinkedIn, anywhere. We'd be happy to support.
And it's a wrap for today's episode of GAS Docuseries, Growth Conversation. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are amazing. And again, I want to thank my amazing guests.
Thank you.
I'm very sure you guys learned something along the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And guys, if you've not bought your ticket for Growth Africa Summit 2.0, you're wrong. Pause the video now. Go and buy your ticket. Tickets are selling out fast. It's on the 1st of October happening in Lagos. Make sure you get your tickets, and we can't wait to see you, to have this conversation live. There's going to be a live GAS Docuseries on the 1st of November, rather. See you there.
A big thank you to SBD Global Media. We love you.
Thank you.
To get a discount on all their services, we are going to put a link in the description. Yeah. And please don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. See you.